Hello lovelies, and welcome aboard to the Disney Wonder here in almost Alaska. We are so excited to be on this cruise with my parents this week. And I know last year we went on a different cruise, a Royal Caribbean, aboard the Grandeur of the Seas. And I did a Chatty Get Ready With Me series, a cruise series, just every day as I was getting ready for the day, going through and just sharing some pictures and videos from the day before, sharing lots of stories and experiences from that trip. And so since my parents were so kind and invited us to come along on this Alaskan cruise on the Disney Wonder with them, I really wanted to just go ahead and make another series, getting ready every day and sharing all about our adventures, because I had a couple of people comment on those Royal Caribbean videos and say how much they enjoyed them and wanted to see another cruise series. So here we are, and we are kicking off this week. We have already flown into Vancouver. We spent a day doing a hop-on, hop-off trolley, and then we had an embarkation day on the ship. And so we are starting really day 2 of our cruise today, and I'm just getting ready for it. So I just want to share all about the trip that we've had so far, all the adventures that we had, and then a couple of things that we're expecting to happen today. So if you are interested, I would love for you to keep watching, and definitely be sure to subscribe so that you can see the rest of the series as we continue. I'm so excited to go ahead and get started and get ready for day 2. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. Our vacation really began on Saturday, July 11, 2026. We flew over to Vancouver, and so we started out, and my parents lived in a different location than us, and so we met in Dallas at the airport there, and then we ended up having the same flight from Dallas to Vancouver, and so we were able to meet up with them in the airport, and then we were able to fly on that same flight. I was able to sit next to my mom on the flight, and we were able to just talk and enjoy that flight together, so it was really nice. And it was a very, thankfully, easy process. At first, when we were getting ready to fly to Dallas, we realized that our flight that we were going to have to Dallas was going to be delayed, and we did not have a very long layover in between when we were getting started. And so we were getting a little nervous on Saturday. We were not sure if we were going to make it. We ended up with only what was about to be an hour layover was going to turn into about 30 minutes or so, and the Dallas airport is pretty large, and so we really were not sure if we were going to be able to make that. And so thankfully we ended up getting to the airport a little after 2, about 2:20, and they had another flight leaving at 3:30. And so we went over to the counter and we asked if there was any way that we could get onto that earlier flight, because our other flight was not going to leave starting at 5:24, and then later, once they delayed it, it was almost close to 6 before it was going to leave. And so they double checked for us and looked in their system, and thankfully there were 3 spots left on that 3:30 flight, and so we were able to snag 2 of them. So we got there, we arrived in Dallas at almost the same time that our original flight was going to leave, around 5:30. So we were so grateful that we were able to get onto that earlier flight. We were able just to breathe. It was very stressful trying to figure out what we were going to do, because we had a buffer day in between that we were going to spend Sunday in Vancouver, but we were not sure about if we were going to make it or not. So we were so grateful that they were able to bump us onto that earlier flight, and that we were able to make it early. So it was really no stress. It was very easy, just getting onto the plane and being able to make it over to Dallas. And so, like I said, we got there pretty early. We got there a little earlier than my parents did, so we just found our terminal and we just went over and sat in our gate and just waited for our next flight, which didn't leave till I think closer to about 8:30 or so. That second flight was delayed just a little bit, but not very much, about 20 or 30 minutes or so. So we were able to hop onto that, and it was very easy. We were able to grab some dinner in the airport. We just grabbed Chick-fil-A because it was nearby, and then we were able to go onto that second leg of our trip. And so we took that flight from Dallas to Vancouver, and like I said, that one did not leave until closer to 8:30 or so. So that one was a little bit of a later flight. It was about 4 or so hours, and so with the time change, we left at 8:30, and we arrived in Vancouver, I believe it was sometime between 11 and midnight. But it definitely felt really late due to the time change, and so we were all pretty tired by the time that we got there. And then we ended up having a couple of mix-ups with the Uber, and so we were glad that we were able to finally get to our hotel, and we were able to just kind of get some rest. We were all incredibly exhausted by the time that we arrived in Vancouver. And so we got over to our hotel. We were staying at La Quinta, and it was not the nicest hotel, but it was all right. It was just somewhere that we were going to stay for a couple of nights, so we were able to get over to our hotel pretty easy. We got checked in pretty late that night, and then we all just kind of got ready for bed, and of course we just kind of crashed after a long day of travel. The flight from Dallas to Vancouver, of course, is not the longest flight ever, but it felt a little long, especially being so late at night. We were all just tired and ready to get there. But thankfully we had a pretty easy day of travel. All 4 of our suitcases made it there with us, so we were very, very grateful for that. We went to the baggage carousel and were able to pick up our suitcases. And then we did a customs check-in as we were entering Canada, which was really cool. Getting to go into a new country and getting to see all of their kind of cultural artifacts and decorations in their airport. It was really neat just to kind of be welcomed with that. And then we found our Ubers and we're able to just get settled in at our hotel. And then the next day on Sunday, we slept in a little bit because we were all just so tired, and we really didn't want to just get up first thing and go. So we just kind of used Sunday as just kind of a lazy, just kind of go with the flow kind of day. And so we were in Vancouver. We, like I said, just kind of slept in. We just waited for just everybody to kind of have a chance to get up, to get ready. And then we went over to our hop-on, hop-off trolley, which we did not realize at first that the trolley was right over by the port where we were going to be leaving on the ship the next day. So it was about a almost 40-minute Uber drive over to the port. And so we caught a couple of we caught an Uber and rode over there, and they were able to drop us off right by the port, and we found where the trolley was, the trolley meetup point. And so we just kind of explored the port area just a little bit and just kind of walked around. And then we went over to where the trolley was going to be meeting. And by the time that we got on the trolley, they said it was going to be about another 20 minutes before it left. So we just kind of got there and got on the trolley and just kind of hung out on there, which was a little unexpected. We kind of thought that the trolley was going to leave a little bit sooner, we kind of just thought, every maybe 10 or so minutes they would leave, but it was at least another 20, and the trolley was already sitting there when we got there. So I'm not sure exactly how long it was in between when they would start and run. But anyway, we hung out on the trolley for a little bit. It was pretty nice. And then we ended up getting going, and we really didn't have a lot of expectations in Vancouver. We just kind of really didn't know a lot about the city. It was definitely very city-like. I think we all didn't really have expectations on what it was going to be like. But I think we all were just kind of thinking a little bit more of Canada and kind of that rustic lodge kind of feel, and a little bit more of just kind of that expectation. And Vancouver is definitely very city. It's even kind of like New York City. My husband and I went there a couple of years ago, and they have, in Vancouver, they have skyscrapers, they have all kinds of really tall buildings. It's definitely very much a mixing pot of a lot of different cultures, and you can see that in the architecture as you're driving around. My family has had the chance to live overseas in several different locations. We lived in Japan and South Korea and in Germany as I was growing up, and it was really funny to drive around Vancouver and look at the different houses and the different apartment buildings and things, and I just felt like there were even just houses that were sitting next to each other, that some of them reminded me of German architecture and some reminded me of Japanese architecture. It was a very interesting blend of cultures and architecture and design. So it was a very interesting city. It definitely was not one that I probably would have wanted to spend more than maybe a day or two in myself personally. It was a very large city. It was very trafficy. We were very grateful that we had Ubers to ride around in and that they were able to just kind of fight off a lot of the traffic for us, because it was very, very busy. And especially I think they have some soccer games happening right now, and they've got just a lot of tourists coming in for the summer and for a lot of the cruises that are going out. And so they were definitely very, very busy. So we really didn't do a whole lot of the hop off part of the hop on, hop off trolley. We mostly did a hop on, and we really just kind of rode the trolley all the way through and just kind of got to see the city. We got to go see Stanley Park, which was my favorite part of the trolley tour. It was really, really beautiful. It was definitely kind of a rainforest type area with a lot of beautiful trees, and they had a rose garden that we drove past. We didn't have a chance to stop there. The trolley stopped there, but we didn't have a chance to get off and take pictures. But it was really beautiful. They have a lot of flowers just in bloom all over the city, and especially in that garden. It was absolutely gorgeous. And so we really enjoyed getting to just go and just ride around and get to see that. The only place that we actually did stop and get off of the trolley and kind of walked around was our driver ended up stopping at a totem park in Stanley Park, and he was stopped there for about 15 minutes so that everybody on the trolley could get off and go explore the totem poles and get to just take a look at all of that. And so that was really cool to have an opportunity, because when we first sat down on the trolley and we were looking at the map, I did say that the totem poles were the only thing that I was really, really interested in. And so we were definitely very interested in stopping there and getting to check that out. And so I was really excited that we had an opportunity to stop without having to stop and check it out and then wait for the next trolley. We could just take a few minutes and just snap a few pictures, check it out, and then get to continue on from there. And so he parked pretty close to the little totem park, and so we were able to just kind of hop right off of the trolley and just walk over, and there was just a little opening in kind of the wooded area beside where he parked in the little parking lot, and we were able to just walk right into there. And they had several totem poles that were all set up. They were absolutely beautiful. It was really cool to get to see those and really get to see part of that Canadian culture. And so we really enjoyed getting to just be out there and experience that. And then while we were there, we were able to kind of go across a little street, and we were able to see just kind of the riverfront or the oceanfront, I'm not sure what it was. And we were able to just look out and see some of the city of Vancouver from the park. So it was really cool. It was a really nice kind of just view of the city, but also the mountains behind the city. It was really, really pretty. And so we got to snap a few pictures there. We were really just interested to see how many people were walking around and biking. There were a lot of people biking through Stanley Park and going around and exploring that area. So that was really cool. They definitely had some people that really looked like they were athletes biking around and really looked like they were very serious about what they were doing. So I'm not sure if they were maybe training for something, or it's just something that they just take seriously as a hobby or an activity that they do. But it was really cool to just be out there and getting to see just kind of the active nature of the people in that area and just kind of how they utilize the area that they have. And so after we did that, we popped over into a little gift store that was over right by the totem pole, and just kind of looked around in there for a few minutes, and all of the things that they were selling were so beautiful and really very cultural to Canada and just to the totem poles. And so it was really cool just to walk around in there. And I did end up actually picking up just a little hair clip in there that looks like a Canadian leaf. And so it's really pretty. It's just a little red hair clip. And so we really enjoyed doing that. By the time that we were checking out and picking up that clip in the store, it was right about the time that our driver said that we needed to be back on the bus, so we didn't get left. And so we kind of hustled back over. We stopped and took one little picture. There was a cute little rock that was sitting just kind of right by the entrance to the totem park, and had some just kind of little, they were kind of little weeds, but just little yellow flowers and some trees there. And so I just wanted to stop and take a quick little picture there, and it was really cute. It was just a nice little kind of photo op spot there. So we did that, and then we ran over and hopped back onto the trolley. And so, like I said, that was really the only place that we got off of the trolley and really kind of looked around and explored. And it was not even something that we had to kind of get off and then wait for another trolley. It was something that our driver allowed us to stop and do. So, like I said, that was something that I wanted to do, and it was really kind of the only stop that I was interested in making, and so I was glad that we had that opportunity. So once we did that, we just got back onto the trolley, and then we just kind of rode it out until the end. We sort of finished out in Stanley Park, just kind of looked around there a little bit more, and then we went back into the city. And it was definitely it was kind of a black and white kind of mix of the two things that we were doing, going into the city and going into Stanley Park. They were so different from each other. It was almost kind of like being in Central Park in New York and then going out into the city. It's just so different. It's such a different vibe and experience being out in nature in the middle of a city and then actually being in the city itself. So it was just really cool to kind of see the parallels between New York and Vancouver. It was definitely very similar. Like I said, I enjoyed New York better. That was such an incredible trip that we went on and had the opportunity to go on. And so it was not quite New York to me. It wasn't quite as cool. But it was a nice city. It was nice to just spend a day there and getting to just kind of look around and explore and getting to just learn a little bit about where we were and actually getting to see Canada. And so we went and we finished out the tour, and we got dropped back off where we had gotten on over by the port, by Canada Place is what it's called. And once we got off, we were really hungry. It was pretty late in the day. I think it was close to 4 o'clock, and we had not eaten already. We were kind of looking as we were on the trolley for somewhere that we could stop and we could grab some lunch, and we really just weren't finding that. I was looking at every single place we drove by, every single stop that we made, and nothing really grabbed me. But I don't know why. It kind of surprised me a little bit that a lot of the restaurant in Canada and in Vancouver were very Americanized. We saw Burger King, we saw McDonald's, we saw Subway, Five Guys. There were all kinds of just typical restaurants that we see here, and so or that we saw or that we see it back home. And so it was just really funny to kind of see that sort of connection. It really didn't feel like we were in a different country. It didn't feel like we were really in a different culture. It felt very Americanized. And so I thought that was very interesting. That was kind of unexpected to me. I don't know, I guess I just kind of thought it was going to be different and kind of feel different. And it felt very just similar to kind of back home. And so we enjoyed doing that. And then once we got off, like I said, it was kind of late in the day and we were getting pretty hungry and trying to figure out where to eat. And we were just kind of sitting on some benches that were right there in kind of the port area. And there was a brunch place right beside us. And then right across the street was a restaurant called the Lions Pub. And so we were just kind of sitting looking at our phones and trying to just kind of figure out what all was available, what was around us, what our options were. And I was interested in the Lions Pub. It looked really pretty from the outside. And so that was one that we ended up looking up, and the menu sounded really good. It was kind of like an English pub, and so they had bangers and mash, fish and chips, that kind of food. And so we ended up deciding to go over there. It was just right across the street from where we were, and so we popped over there, and we were able to get a table outside. They had just kind of like a little patio. We went inside the building at first, and it was really cool inside. It was very English pub. but we just decided it was such a nice day. It was so nice and cool and breezy outside that we just really couldn't pass up the opportunity to get to sit outside. And so we just grabbed a little table for 4 out there, and we sat down with my parents, and it was just so pleasant. They brought us little cups of water with like a little kind of carafe for the water that we could just refill. And then our food, we decided to all kind of order different things. We all just kind of shared a little bit. But one thing that I was really interested in, and part of why we ended up picking that particular restaurant, is I know in the Canada Pavilion in Epcot, even though I've never tried them before, I know that poutines are a very popular dish that you can get in Epcot in the Canada area. And so I thought, well, this might be the only time I ever come to Canada in my life. And so while I'm here, wouldn't it be a good idea to try some actual authentic poutines? And so they had some on the menu. And so we ordered that as an appetizer. They had options to add chicken or beef to it, but we just got the fries with the gravy and cheese curds on it, and they were really good. I mean, they were not the best thing I've ever had in my life, but they were really good. I mean, it was fries with gravy, and it definitely was very well made. It was very fresh. The fries were really good. They were very thick cut, and it was definitely a very, very good appetizer. And then, like I said, we all kind of ordered different things. My mom ordered a coconut chicken curry, and that was definitely by far our favorite thing. It was so good. She and I were going to share. So she got that. And then I got a beef dip sandwich. And that one was good. It was definitely not the best beef dip sandwich that I've ever had. And it was... I don't even know how to explain how it was different than most kind of French dip sandwiches that I've had. It was just, I don't know, the cut of the meat was a little bit different, and it just wasn't as good, but it was okay. So we enjoyed getting to share those. And then my husband got bangers and mash, and my dad got kind of a beef pot pie. And so we really enjoyed that meal. It was very good. And then we just enjoyed getting to sit outside, and after we'd been on the trolley all day and we hadn't eaten all day, it was just really nice to just kind of have an opportunity to just sit and relax and just hang out with each other and just kind of talk about our day, and then just kind of talk about some other parts of our trip that we were looking forward to. So that was just a really, really nice experience, and getting to just kind of enjoy a good meal in Canada. And then once we finished there, we really were just kind of done. We were very tired. Like I said, we were all just kind of jet lagged a little bit from flying, and we were just tired from traveling. And so we were just like, let's just go back to the hotel. We're all really exhausted. So it was another about 40-minute drive to get back to the hotel. It was definitely not very close to the port. And so we went ahead and grabbed an Uber, and we went back over to the hotel, and pretty much just all kind of got ready for bed, and we all went to bed about 7 o'clock. And so we were very, very tired. And so I slept pretty well that night, and definitely was very exhausted by the time we went to sleep, and then ended up waking up about 3:30 in the morning, and kept just waking up and just waiting for it to be time to get up and start getting ready, and eventually got up at 6:30, and my husband and I went over to the gym and used some of the equipment there, and we just kind of slowly just kind of got ready for the day. And then we were able to get our Uber for an earlier time. We had pre-booked the Uber, but we were able to request an earlier time because we were all just ready, and we were like, let's just go. What are we sitting around the hotel for? And so we had the Uber come about, I think it was maybe 30 minutes to an hour earlier than we originally had booked it for. And so we got the Uber to come and pick us up, and then we made our way over to the port. And we really just kind of expected that we were going to get there, and we were about 45 minutes early for our port arrival time that we had with Disney to be able to get onto the ship and to be able to do the check-in. And so we didn't anticipate that we could get in early, but we at least just wanted to be there and be ready when it was time. And so we just kind of thought we would just probably sit at the park benches we had sat at the day before when we were doing the trolley tour, and we were just kind of looking for lunch. We just expected we could just kind of hang out there. But once we got there, they ended up driving us down into a parking garage, and we weren't really sure where exactly we were going, but they took us down into this parking garage. And when we got down in there, we realized that they had all of the people that worked for Disney down in there, and they were collecting luggage out of cars as people were getting dropped off. And so we pulled right up. Our Uber driver helped us to unload. We just pulled all of our luggage, and right there, right beside the car, someone from Disney was there to come and to take your luggage for you. And so we just passed that on, and we're able to just kind of let all of that go and know that it was going to end up on the ship for us. And so we were able to just kind of breathe a little easier without all our luggage on hand. We still had our carry-ons, of course, that we had to walk onto the ship with. But in terms of just kind of getting going for the day, we were able to let our luggage go and go ahead and start moving our way into the check-in area in the port itself. Even though we were there about 30 to 45 minutes before our port arrival time, we were able to go ahead and go into the port terminal, and we were able to just kind of go through and go ahead and get in line. And by the time that we walked in there, they already had it open for 11:30, which was our port arrival time, to be able to go ahead and start getting in line and waiting there. And so we were there quite a bit earlier than we even intended to be, and thankfully it just kind of worked out that our group was already being kind of moved through the line. And so we were able to go into the large room where they had everybody just kind of lining up, and it was where you sort of just did a check-in. You showed your passport, you were able to just kind of let them know that you were there, and then they did that before you moved on to customs and security. And so we just kind of stood in that line for a little while. I mean, it was closer to 11:30 by the time that they actually called our group and we were able to go through. But it was a pretty seamless process. We, like I said, we were waiting for a little bit. And so we took a couple of pictures in just the kind of waiting area. They have, of course, cute Mickey and Minnie signage around the rooms and everything. And so we were able to take some really cute pictures. And then we started moving into being able to do our check-in. We did that, and then once you check in, they kind of have you move outside of that check-in room, and they have you go out onto or outside of the actual building. They have you walk down a walkway and go down an escalator. It was kind of a large facility, and they kind of just move you all over the place. But we were able to then go to another very large room where they had the security. And so, you know, it's just like airport security. You just kind of put all of your items onto a conveyor belt that goes through the scanner, and then you walk through a scanner yourself and then grab your bags on the other side and keep going. So we were able to go ahead and get checked in with that. And then we had to go and manage with customs, which was a very easy process. Really, you had your passport in hand, and they didn't even end up looking at our passports. We just walked up, and they had kind of a little iPad there that they took your picture, and that was really all that we had to do for that. And then once we got everything checked in, we were able to go ahead and go into kind of the boarding waiting area. And so we moved into just this large room that had a whole bunch of seats in it. It kind of just looked almost like a bus station a little bit. Everybody was just kind of sitting and waiting in there. Went ahead and just grabbed a couple of seats, and we were just waiting. They had told us during the check-in process that our group was going to be boarding group 8, and by the time that we got in there, they had not even called group 1 yet. That was one of the first things that we heard, was they come over the intercom system and they announce which group is then boarding. And so we went ahead and just kind of waited. We took a few pictures in there. They had some really cute signage and things with Mickey and the gang in there. And so we grabbed some pictures and we're just sitting and waiting. We were trying to get connected to the Disney Cruise Line app while we were there, but it really didn't connect very well in the port. We ended up having to wait until we got on the ship to be able to connect. And so once we finished in there, we just waited as they continued to call groups 1 through 7, and then it was time for our group to be called. And so we gathered up all our things, went and we showed our paperwork for our port arrival time and got checked in. And then when I really appreciated, as you were getting on the ship, they had a couple of ladies there that were requesting everyone to hand sanitize. So they are definitely taking a lot of precautionary measures and really trying to make sure everybody is clean and safe. And so we grabbed some hand sanitizer, walked down kind of a steep little kind of gangway plank, trying to get to the actual ship itself. And so we walked kind of outside, and then they kind of just put you out onto the edge of the ship, and then you actually walk into the atrium on the ship from where they have the entrance. And so we walked in, and as you walk in, you get your port arrival form scanned and make sure that you are who you say you are. They say welcome by name as they scan each port arrival form barcode, so they know who you are. And then as you walk past, you of course tell them your last name, and then they announce you as you're walking onto the ship. So that was really cool. I tried really hard not to tell Dylan about that before we went so that he would be surprised, and I think he was. It was a cool experience getting to walk in. It was definitely kind of rushed as you're going in. There was a lot of people, but we were still just trying to stop and just kind of enjoy the magic as we got on. So then once we got on, we were just trying to kind of get our bearings, and we had a couple of things that we needed to talk to guest services about. So we did that. We kind of got our cruise app set up so that we could utilize that throughout the week. And then after that, we were all pretty hungry, and so we were trying to kind of figure out what to do for lunch. And so we ended up going over to Tiana's place, and that was our first meal for the cruise. We had lunch in there, and it was so nice. It is such a beautiful restaurant. That's the thing that I love about Disney cruises, is the details. You can sit in a room for an hour and still be saying, oh, did you notice that? Or, oh, look at that. And there's just so much just finesse and so much detail in a Disney cruise ship that is just so much fun, and it's just so different from any other brand or any other line. And so we just really enjoyed being in Tiana's place and getting to really just see, they have a lot of just little nods to the Princess and the Frog in there. They have a lot of just kind of silhouettes of characters, and then even the plates and things were beautiful. So for our lunch, we went ahead and ordered. We all got the beef empanada, which was really good. It was a little spicy, but it was really, really good, and had a just kind of spicy sauce with it that kind of give it a little extra kick. We all got different soups. They had a potato and leek kind of cream-based soup that was really good. That's what I got. I kind of anticipated it was going to have some chunks of potato in it, but it didn't. It was just very smooth. It was kind of pureed, but it was so good. It tasted very potatoey, but it was a delicious soup. And then that was what my mom and I got, and then my dad and my husband both got the chicken and seafood gumbo, and it was good. It was very tomato based, but it was a really good a good soup, a good gumbo. It had a lot of pieces of okra in it and not a lot of chicken or seafood, so it was kind of lacking in that regard, but the soup itself was pretty good. And then we all got our entrees. I think most of us got the beef tenderloin, and it was really good. It was a very well cooked piece of meat, and it was very just kind of very tender, very juicy. It had some potato and some green beans with it, and it was absolutely delicious. So that was a really good first meal. I will say the thing we were the most disappointed with was the desserts. My husband and I both got a cookies and cream cheesecake, which I thought, wow, that's going to be so amazing. And unfortunately it wasn't. It was very dry, which is kind of crazy. I've never had a dry cheesecake before, but it was a little on the dry side, and just wasn't really our favorite. It was not terribly flavorful. And my mom got a carrot cake, which was very lemon heavy in the flavor, so that was not our favorite either. But the best of all the desserts was what my dad got, he got the Welcome Aboard Sundae, and it was just essentially vanilla bean ice cream with caramel, but he really enjoyed that one. And he did have these little they were almost like praline or pecan kind of bread, sort of brownie like. I'm not really sure exactly what they were, but they were just little kind of pieces of just kind of pecan bread. And I tried one of those that he had gotten on the side of his ice cream, and those were probably my favorite part of the dessert. They were really good. They were just kind of mild. They weren't very, very sugary, but they were still pretty good, and I enjoyed kind of snagging one of those from him. And so after lunch, we just kind of started going and exploring the ship a little bit. And I think around that time, our rooms were ready. So we started making our way over to deck 2, which is where our staterooms are. And we got really fortunate that when we bought our tickets, we did where Disney could pick your rooms for you, that you didn't have to choose a room, which really helps with kind of the cost of the cruise and things like that. But we were very fortunate that they ended up putting us right next to each other. So my husband and I are in room 2043 and my parents are in room 2041. So we are literally right next door to each other. So that was really cool, and just a great thing that we are able to just kind of pop over and check in with each other while we're on the cruise. And so we just kind of got settled into our rooms and just kind of put started kind of unpacking a little bit and just kind of getting a little bit familiar with our rooms. It is a beautiful room. It is a lot more spacious, I think, than the Royal Caribbean Grandeur of the Seas. Our room last year was very, very small, so we're really enjoying having a lot more space in here. We feel like there are ample amounts of cabinet spaces and drawers in here. We both unpacked last night before we went to bed, and we were able to put all of our things into the closet. We have plenty of room in there, and then we were able to utilize some of the drawers, but not even all of the drawers. So there's extra drawers in here. So we really feel like we were able to unpack very well, very easily, and get really settled into our room. So it's a really nice room. We feel like the bed is pretty big. And then there's a couch in here right behind me. That's what that is. And there's just plenty of seating. There's plenty of table space. The vanity in here, I have plenty of room to kind of spread out, have all my products out, and be able to get ready. So it's a really nice room, and we're really enjoying it so far. So like I said, we went ahead and checked into our room, and then we really wanted to just continue to explore the ship and get to do things outside the room. So we just kind of went around, and we I think around 3 o'clock we had to go do our safety drill. So we went to the Walt Disney Theater and we checked in and we did that. It was mostly just them kind of explaining what to do in the case of an emergency. They played a video that we were able to watch that just kind of showed in action actors acting out what to do. And then that was really it. It was very quick, very easy. And we were able to just kind of check that off our list, and we were able to move on. And then we ended up embarking around 3 o'clock. And so my parents wanted to go out onto the deck, and they wanted to look out and be able to watch the sail away and be able to see Vancouver as we sailed from it. And then at that same time, they were having a trivia in the D Lounge. And so Dylan and I wanted to do that. And so we went ahead and participated in the trivia. And we did pretty well. There were 20 questions, and we got 19 of them right. One of them was one of those kind of date-based questions that it's always so tricky and always kind of throws you off when you are doing a trivia. You're going, I know everything about every single movie you asked, but I don't know the date that something came out. So that one was a little bit tricky for us, and we ended up missing that one. But there was one group that actually did get all 20 right, and so they were able to win those little goofy plastic medallions that they were handing out for the prize. So that was fun. And then we realized in the D Lounge right after that, they were having a drawing class, how to draw Pluto. So we stayed in there and we drew Pluto, and that was really cool. They had a video up on the screen with an animator. I know his first name was Lon. I don't remember his last name, but he was a Disney animator, and so he just went through and explained step by step how to draw Pluto, as well as just kind of explaining just sort of the process of animation and just kind of things that he looks for and things that he does, tips and tricks on how he does his job better. So that was really cool and really fun just to get to hear from a Disney animator and get to watch his process and getting to draw along. And Dylan and I were both really happy with our drawings that we made, and we really just enjoyed getting to do that. It was very fun, very relaxing. And so we finished up in there. And then I think after that, I know we went and saw Minnie Mouse. We got to see her in kind of her captain outfit. We waited in a line and saw her. Of course, the characters, they get very long lines very quickly. So we just kind of waited and got some pictures with her. And then we just kind of continued to explore the ship a little bit. And eventually we went to dinner. We originally were on the 8:15 dinner schedule, but we were able, when we got on board, to get moved to the earlier one. So our dinner was at 5:45, and so we went over, and our first meal was going to be in Triton. And so we went over there, and it is such a beautiful restaurant. My husband and I were really enjoying just looking around the room and getting to see just the design and the details in the dining room in Triton's. It is so beautiful, and really getting to just see all of just kind of the seashell shapes and all of that. But our table that we had was over by the window, so we were able to just kind of look out at the water, and it was just really, really pretty in there. We were able to meet our servers that are going to be with us throughout the week, and they're going to do the rotational dining, and they're going to be with us throughout the week. So they were very nice and very accommodating, and we were able to kind of get to know them a little bit, and they were able to start to get to know us. So we're excited just to be with them throughout the week and get to know them better. And so we really enjoyed our dinner. We got soups again for our kind of appetizers. I got a French onion soup. It was really good. It was very messy, but it was really good. And then my husband ended up getting the potato and leek soup. He didn't get that one with lunch, but he really liked it when he tried it, and so ended up getting that with dinner. For another appetizer, my husband and I also got a shrimp, and it was good. It was not great. It was kind of cold shrimp, and my husband said he thought it tasted like flowers, and it kind of did. It had a very kind of garden flavor to it. I thought it was good. It had some sauces with it that I dipped into that I thought were pretty good, but it definitely wasn't the best shrimp ever. But it was all right. My dad ended up getting escargot, and he offered to share, and all of us said, no thank you. I actually have had escargot before. It pretty much just tastes like butter, but that was probably my one time. Mark that off my bucket list, and I'm not sure I'll have it again. And then we got our meals, and there were so many things on that menu that looked good. It was really, really hard to decide what to get. But I ended up getting the salmon, and the salmon was really good. It kind of had, I think it was horseradish crusted. I'm not sure, but it kind of just tasted like Parmesan crusted fish, and it was really good. It had a nice little crunch to it. It was cooked beautifully, and it had a cauliflower puree under it that was really, really good. And then my mom ended up getting the beef tenderloin, and she and I just kind of 50-50 split our meals and shared with each other. My husband ended up getting the roasted chicken, and that one was good. It was very moist and very juicy and had a good flavor to it. My husband and I also got one of the two pastas that they had. It had a nice cream sauce on it with some mushrooms, and that ended up being, I think, my favorite part of that meal. That pasta was really, really good. And so, and then my dad got the rack of lambs, and I did not try that one, but he said it was pretty good also. So we had a really good meal, and then we topped it off with some desserts. My mom and I both got the creme brulee, and it was really good. I will say I actually think I liked the creme brulee on the Royal Caribbean ship a little bit better, but I still felt like the Disney one was really good and was very creamy and had a really good flavor to it. My husband got a strawberry shortcake sundae, and it was really good. It had some really nice fresh strawberries in it and some really good ice cream, so he really enjoyed that. Or my dad ended up deciding that he wanted to get all three of the desserts. He couldn't decide or pick on just one, so he ended up getting, or he shared the creme brulee with my mom, but he ended up getting a souffle and then another just kind of sponge cake type dish, or it was kind of a layered cake, and I think it had chocolate and coffee. I didn't look too closely at the description, but he really enjoyed that. He said it was like a very light tiramisu. My dad really likes coffee, so that was a kind of a win for him. After dinner, which we really enjoyed, we really had a good time in there, but after dinner we ended up going out, and they were having the sail away party that evening at 7:45 or so. So we did a couple of different things, and then we decided to go ahead and go get ready to go to that. And so we went up to the top deck, and we were able to just kind of watch Mickey and the gang as they were dancing, and then some of the other cast members that were out there dancing, and really just get to enjoy that sail away party. And it was just a lot of fun. We got to hear them blow the horn as we were sailing, and if you've been on a Disney cruise, you know there's a really special kind of horn blow that they have when they are departing. So definitely sounds very magical, and so we really enjoyed getting to experience that. It was really fun. They had a lot of loud music out there, and we really just enjoyed being out there. And then we just kind of hung out there. We got a plate of French fries. The Disney French fries on the cruise are one of our favorite things. We always definitely have to get a plate of that. And so we got some of those, and we also got some hot chocolate because it was very windy out there. It was very chilly, but it was just so nice to just kind of be in that nice kind of chilly Alaskan air out on the ship. And so we just kind of hung out, ate a little snack. We took some pictures out there. There were definitely just mountainscapes all behind us as we were sailing, and it was so beautiful, and we really enjoyed just that background with the sky and the water and the mountains. It was so lovely, and so we are just so excited for just all of the nature that we're going to see on this trip, and just the beautiful scenery that's out here. So we, like I said, just kind of snapped some pictures while we were outside, and then ended up going back in. And they were having a lot of characters last night out on kind of the third deck where the atrium is. They had Donald come out, they had Goofy come out, and then they also had Cinderella in between the two in a different spot. And so my husband and I ended up going and just kind of waiting in line. We ended up being first in line for Donald and for Cinderella, and then we kind of got back into the line because Donald and Goofy were in the same place. So that line was still kind of there. We just were able to kind of get into the end of the Donald line that kind of ended up turning into the Goofy line. And so we just kind of waited in line for those, and we felt a little bad because when we went up to see Donald, my husband and I were both wearing a lot of Mickey gear. I had a Mickey Mouse dress, and he had a Mickey Mouse t-shirt on. And then my shoes that I had made for our cruise, they had Mickey on them. And so I think Donald was a little offended, but we were able to go up and take pictures with him. And it was funny because the shirt that my mom had on, it said smile on it, and it had some daisies. And so he really liked her because she had daisies on her shirt. And so we had a little bit of redemption there. With Donald, and so we really enjoyed getting to take pictures with him. I think I forgot to mention we did also take pictures with Mickey earlier in the day. It was such a whirlwind of a day. I'm trying to remember everything that we ended up doing, but we did get pictures with Mickey himself in his captain uniform, and so we ended up throughout the day getting Minnie, Mickey, Donald, and Goofy. So we were really happy to have all the gang in all their kind of cruise outfits, and get to really have just kind of that full set, especially with our embarkation outfits that we were wearing also. The dress that I had on, I got a lot of compliments on it. I picked it up when we were in Epcot a couple of years ago, and I really like that dress. I don't wear it a whole lot. It's very Disney. But I was a little sad yesterday that it is the perfect Animator's Palette outfit. The restaurant, it would be the perfect dress to wear there. But I did not know until we got on the ship yesterday afternoon or so which restaurant we were going to have for dinner last night, and we ended up in Triton. And then of course tonight and tomorrow night we're going to be in Animator's Palette, so I missed out getting to wear it there. And I had a lot of people asking me, oh, are you wearing that to Animator's Palette? And I said no. It didn't work out that way, but it's okay. It was a great Embarkation Day outfit. And so we enjoy getting to take pictures with Donald and with Goofy. They were a lot of fun, and they had a really big personality. When we went up to Goofy, he hugged me and then he twirled me, and it was really cute. And then it was funny because my husband came up after me, and he kind of did the same thing. He, I think he high-fived him or hugged him, and then he gave him a little twirl too. And then he even went over to the cast member that was there and did the same with her. He gave her a little twirl also. So he was very animated, and he was a lot of fun to get to see. We got some really cute pictures with him, and I ended up on that one realizing that the photographer, the PhotoPass photographer, was not taking a whole lot of just kind of moment pictures. She was just kind of standing there while people had their moment with the characters, and then she would take the photo that were posed. But I realized that a lot of people were handing their phones to the handler that was beside her, and she was taking a lot of those kind of action photos. So by the time that we got up there, I did hand my phone to the handler, and she took a lot of really good pictures for us. So I was really excited to have those. I'm glad I ended up handing my phone off to her also. And so we took some really cute pictures with them. We got a couple of pictures with Cinderella throughout the day. We did the PhotoPass photos with her that night, and we were able to get some really cute kind of full body photos with her. But it was funny because earlier in the evening when we were about to go into Triton's for dinner, we actually saw her, and it was such a magical moment. We were at the bottom of a staircase, just kind of in a little nook in this hallway, and we saw her just kind of by herself, just descending the staircase. It was really cool. It was really magical, and she just looked so beautiful in her big ball gown. And she just came down, and it was just my family just kind of sitting right there. And so we saw her, and we asked if we could take a picture. And so my husband and I jumped into that photo, but everything was just kind of quick and rushed, and we were trying to do it really fast. And so when my dad took the picture, he didn't do a full body photo. He just kind of did the just kind of a nice headshot, and it's a really cute picture. But we were also wanting to get a really good picture with her full dress on it too. So we ended up going back later when they had the PhotoPass and getting another picture with her. And so she was so sweet. She was so pretty. And just her ball gown and her makeup and everything, she was absolutely gorgeous. So I really enjoyed getting to see her. Yeah, I know today they're going to be having all the princesses out. I know they have a big gathering that you have to kind of pre-register for. They're going to have a whole bunch of the princesses lined up, and then you can go and do photos with each of them. We are not going to do that, but we did have a photographer last night trying to sell us on that, and I don't know if it's something you have to pay for or not, but I do know they have just kind of a royal gathering you can sign up to do. And so we just really enjoyed getting to see some characters yesterday. They all had really fun outfits on. We're really looking forward to tonight because it's going to be a day at sea today, and then also our formal night. And so we are really looking forward to getting to see all the characters in their formal outfits. The photographer that told us yesterday about the princess gathering also mentioned to us that Minnie and Daisy are going to be out, and they are going to have some princess dresses on today too. So we're very excited to get to see that and get to see them all dressed up. So we are really looking forward to another fun day on the ship. Yesterday was a lot of fun. We really had a very jam-packed day yesterday. We were really able to fit a lot in just to our embarkation day. So we're really excited just to see what the rest of the trip holds. And so we're really looking forward just to having a couple of days at sea. Today is a full day at sea, and then tomorrow is Glacier Day, so we'll definitely be out on the deck getting pictures with Mickey and the gang in all of their really cute outfits, and all their kind of Alaska outfits that are just so cute and so fun, and we just cannot wait to get to see those. And then mostly we're going to be on the ship. We didn't book an excursion for Glacier Day to get off of the ship and to go out and actually see the glaciers up close. But we are still looking forward to just getting to be on the ship and explore the ship. I do think on Glacier Day tomorrow we are probably going to be out on the deck quite a bit, so we're going to really have to bundle up and wear some warm clothes and really just enjoy getting to see that Alaska scenery. We are really, really excited to get to start to see that and getting to see all of the nature and the wildlife out here. So I know I am really looking forward to all of that. But it is just so much fun just being on a Disney cruise. There really is just nothing like it. As I mentioned, we went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and that one was really fun, but it was very, very different. Just being a different cruise line, and then also this one being in Alaska versus the Caribbean cruise and being in the Bahamas. It is just such a different vibe already. The scenery outside is so different, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's just so just kind of mountainous and just it's just awe-inspiring. It is so pretty, and we really haven't even gotten to see very much yet, but we did have a couple of times yesterday where people would start kind of getting excited and they would start looking out the windows and everybody was crowding around and we'd say, what is it? And they were starting to see whales outside, so they could see them just kind of coming up to the surface of the water, kind of cresting a little bit, and then a couple of them even kind of blowing water up. So that was super cool to kind of get to start to see that yesterday. We ended up, as we were kind of waiting and eating our snacks after the sail away party, we saw a little bit of that out on the water outside the window. So it was really cool just to start to see the whales and getting to start to see kind of that Alaskan nature. We are really, really looking forward to just what the rest of this trip has to offer for us and getting to see all of the wildlife. I know I'm really hoping that we will see some bears, some moose, otters maybe. I've heard about otters being up here. Salmon I would really like to see. And then, of course, the whales. We are going to do some whale watching on this trip. We did pack some binoculars, so we're hoping that will help also, because I don't think they get super close to any ships or boats, but hopefully they'll be pretty easy to see with the binoculars. So we are just so excited. This is just such a beautiful area, and all the pictures and everything that we have seen are going to be have been so pretty, and so we're just so excited just for what all we're going to get to experience and what all we're going to get to see throughout this week as we are exploring Alaska, going to our different ports, and then even just kind of watching from the sides of the cruise ship and getting to really just kind of see all the nature outside, the mountains and everything. So it is just so fun. We're so excited, and we just can't wait to see what this week has to offer. And we are just looking forward to this trip and just looking forward to especially getting to hang out with my parents. Like I mentioned earlier, we don't live in the same place, so we don't get to see each other very often. So getting to just kind of go on a trip, just us and them, it's just a lot of fun, and getting to just explore the ship, explore Alaska. And I'm really looking forward just to having this week with them and getting to just kind of have that time to connect with each other. So it's just such an amazing opportunity. We're so grateful and we're so blessed just to get to be here and get to explore Alaska with my parents and with each other. My husband and I are really excited to get to be here together as well. The Royal Caribbean cruise that we went on last year was my husband's first cruise. It was my third cruise, and this one is his second and my fourth. And so I have been on Disney before. I went on the one Royal Caribbean, and then this is my third Disney cruise. So I really enjoy Disney cruises. I really enjoy just the atmosphere, the family orientationness of it, and then the just the vibes, the activities, everything. It's just so much fun. And so I'm really looking forward to having this week and getting to share this with my husband also. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed hearing all about our hop on hop off trolley in Vancouver and all about our embarkation day on the Disney Wonder going to Alaska. I am so excited about this trip and all the different things that it has to offer, and I'm just so excited to do a Chatty Get Ready With Me series and get to share all of this with you. I would love to hear from you in the comments below if you have been to Alaska on a Disney cruise or maybe a different cruise line, and just some of your tips and tricks about coming to Alaska, some of your favorite memories. I'd just love to hear all about your trips in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit that like button, and if you would like to stay tuned for all the rest of our fun Alaskan adventures here on the Disney Wonder, then I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and definitely hit that notification bell so you'll be notified as the rest of this cruise series is posted. And then of course, this is a makeup channel. I share all kinds of fun makeup tutorials and makeup content, so I would love for you to hang out with us and just continue to just be a part of just the Make Up the Rules channel. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.